Hello, I'm Andy Plummer, and I'm with board certified chiropractic orthopedist and certified chiropractic neurologist, Dr. Bob Olivieri. And today I'd like to discuss a term from I.A. Kapanji's cornerstone book, The Physiology of Joints, with you that concerns what he terms automatic rotation, or the lateral flexion or tilting, and how that induces rotation.
Right.
And as you and I have discussed, and you've helped me understand how this has also been described as a coupling motion of the spine, and what that means is that how when a person laterally flexes or tilts to the left, that the rotation is always in the opposite direction or the opposite side of the lateral flexion.
Correct.
Did I say that okay?
Yes, you did.
Okay, and I would just like you to expand on the mechanism of that movement for everyone so that everyone's clear about the tilting in the name stack and tilt.
There's actually a mechanism that takes place in your spine naturally. So as you will start to bend over to one side, your spine automatically, your lumbar spine, each one of the vertebral bodies will actually rotate into or away from the side of the lateral flexion. And the components that are involved in this primarily is as you bend to one side, the disc, which has a gel-filled center, becomes compressed on that side, so it will laterally deviate. When it does that, it sets up a little pivoting motion of which makes the lumbar spine rotate in the opposite direction. So that's achieved both by the disc itself, and then on the other side you have some ligamentous components that will actually begin to expand and neutralize, which causes the spine further to rotate. So you have the structure of the bone, you have the ligaments that are involved, and then you have some other muscles that really start that mechanism, which are the small intrinsic muscles within the spine. And those little muscles, they're called the multifidi, they're intertransverse areas, and the rotatory muscles. And they're intrinsically controlled, meaning you don't have any voluntary control over this. So that's why it's automatically happening, whether you want it to happen or not. The only limiting factors are sometimes joint functions within the spine and the integrity of the disc, but it's still, that mechanism is still going to occur.
Thank you for saying that. Now, where this is important to the golfer is that first to understand that lateral flexion or tilting on a golfer's backswing is always to the direction or to the left, and how that, if I may say, Bob, induces the rotation of the vertebral column to the right, or the vertebral bodies to the right.
Bodies to the right.
Okay. Do you mind I think you have a demonstration of a spine here that might put that into some perspective for everyone?
I do, Andy. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this from the front portion, because that way you get a chance to see what's actually happening to the vertebral bodies. Now you have to understand this model does not have ligamentous attachments to it, it does not have muscle attachments to it, so I'm going to actually guide the spine into the direction here. However, you're in a slightly forward flexed posture here with this during the golf stand, and you're trying to keep your spine angle straight. And so as you laterally flex, or we'll show it this way, as you begin to laterally flex to one side, which would be over to your left side, what happens is these vertebral bodies from the front will rotate here to the opposite direction. So as you laterally flex, the spinous processes rotate into the side, and the vertebral bodies, which of course are in the front, will start to rotate in the opposite side. So that's the normal mechanism of movement. No matter who you are. If you're standing upright, that's what's actually happening.
So would it be safe to say that every golfer who plays golf tilts or laterally flexes?
Yes. Yes. Well, they should. If they're going to keep their spine angle straight, if they're going to keep centered, that's what they should be doing.
Okay.
I will say that, and this is just my input, I think the misunderstanding lots of times within stack and tilt is that people say that they load over to the left side and they think that they're keeping all their weight over to the side. And that has never been the explanation in any of your books or any of the courses that I've taken. I have a very bad hip, and the reason why I sought out stack and tilt because I have a fracture in my lower back and bad hips, the last thing I want to do is induce poor movement in a back that's already not designed to handle that. So as you laterally flex and rotate, you're staying centered. And that's the only way that you can stay centered. If it's being poorly communicated what stack and tilt is, they tell people that you lean over to your left side. And I hear that all the time. And that's the furthest thing that's even being taught or has ever been expressed in any of your books.
Yeah, I think the real confusion there, Bob, comes from the desire to create an axis of rotation or around the longitudinal component of the spine,
Right.
and how to keep it stable, and then how to coordinate that with having the pelvic girdle or the hips with their weight forward.
Right.
And people don't understand the differentiation of making a stable centered turn around the spine, but having the pelvis and hips move the golfer's weight, quote unquote, to the left. And a lot of people make that into just leaning the whole spine and the hips forward. to the
Correct.
left. And
Right.
that's not anything at all
Right.
the accurate description of this.
That's what I find all the time when I'm trying to communicate what I'm doing on the golf course, what the concepts are. And most of the time they say you have very good posture, but as soon as you bend, your spine's already rotating. So what I think it's brilliant to be able to say you're bending to the side and you rotate back. Where are you? You're centered. And it's the only way that you can keep your spine that way. If you do, because your body automatically does that anyway. If you laterally flex, you're doing a rotation. And then, of course, you're just trying to bring your shoulder back to get a full center rotation. So you're not shifting all the way back like the old theory used to be.
Right.
And you're not keeping all your weight to the front, which is what...
Some people connotate stack and tilt as.
Correct.
Very
Correct.
good.
Right.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Okay.
Hopefully you made that clear.